because the mics are hot and because we are live, that means
hot mics, cold nights.
the soundtrack to our existence. Orange and blue today.
Da, 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 da. Do, 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 do.
It's a good one. It's a good one, everybody. Good
It's a rager.
Show. It is. Rager on Orange and Blue today. And away we go. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason talking about the Denver Broncos. And we're going to get to Jimmy Garoppolo and his suspension in a little bit, Mace. But first, Russell Wilson. The tweet is out. The report is out. DenverSports.com. Russell Wilson looking to sell his home. You can read more at DenverSports.com.
Yeah, hat tip to business_den, businessden.com, I believe is the website, for breaking the news that Russ and Sierra's pad is on the market. They're accepting tours of people who want to check it out and potentially buy it. We always say focus on what they do, not what they say. Here's a very big do that tells you the way things are looking for the Denver Broncos at the quarterback position. They're looking to sell the house. That may tell you everything you need to know about the hopes of Russell Wilson coming back to the Broncos.
Yeah, and there were still people saying that, Mace, and you or I were pushing back. It's like, I think Russ has moved on, and honestly, there's no tampering.
Yeah.
But he might already have a team that's interested.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, it's possible that there may not be a place on the dance floor for him. You and I talked about it earlier. I mean, this week, Pittsburgh, if they're looking at Justin Fields, who knows what Atlanta is looking at, whether they may even move up from their spot in the draft or maybe looking at QB4 when they are on the clock. But here's the thing. Whoever signs Russell Wilson will certainly sign him to a very minimal contract because of what he's going to get from the Broncos. And the only relief the Broncos are going to get is in the offset on the contract, which probably isn't going to be very much, right? So it's possible that there may be a team that signs Russell Wilson and then turns around and drafts its QB of the future a month later, like the Atlanta Falcons, perhaps. There's a lot of things in play.
Right. Teams across the league, we're talking about bridge, right? And we'll get to Jimmy Garoppolo in a little bit. Mm-hmm. We're talking about bridge. Russell Wilson may be seen as a bridge. That's it.
Yeah.
By the Atlanta Falcons, by whoever out there.
Yeah, and so I know people are going to say, well, why can't he be a bridge here? Well, the reason why he can't be a bridge here is because of that $37 million clause that exists if he's on the roster the fifth day of the league year, right? So basically, it's going to have to be a new contract for Russell Wilson. You imagine it might be a 2-year deal with a very minimal base salary contract in year one for offset purposes, and maybe more money on the backside in year two for a team that does sign him. But the structure of the contract, as it is with the Broncos, basically precludes the notion of him being a bridge, because then that's a bridge to which you're committing $112 million over 2 years relative to the cap in terms of what you've got left on the signing bonus and the salary, including that $37 million guaranteed, which wouldn't exist if he's on another contract with another team. So it's just, that's why him being a bridge here with that clause in the contract, it's not possible.
Yeah, it's not possible. It's not going to happen. And, real estate, it's all about location, right, Mace? We get these clues sometimes about this, and that's why we kind of scrap our original plan for the show, which was about Jimmy G, which we'll get to. But it's like, no, this is a big deal. If he's open to offers on that house, it's not because he's really thinking about staying with the Broncos.
Exactly. I mean, it's the tell. I mean, it's a good job on the business side for digging that up. But this is the tell. This is the sign. You're not doing that if you don't think you're moving on. Look, Russ and Sierra, wherever they are, they're going to want to be comfortable, right? So, if he were coming back, you wouldn't be looking to sell this house that is equipped for now 4 children and, two chefs has it, and all the other members of Team Russ and Sierra who are in their orbit, right? You wouldn't get rid of that if you thought she were coming back. So I would actually argue, Cease, this is the biggest indication we've gotten that says that Russell Wilson's time in Denver is over.
Well, and it's one of those things, Mason. You and I will always parse things, and we will always tell the truth, even when it seems belligerent. But like when Sean Payton's, alluding to there being an option of them keeping Russell Wilson, that's what he has to do. Russ is telling you, and this is kind of Russ taking ownership with that final press conference at his locker, and then Russ taking ownership now. He's not leaving this in the hands of the Broncos, and then in a month, now I got to sell my house. No, he's doing it today on February 16th.
Well, especially on something like that, it may take a while to get what you want. Like the more something is worth in real estate, the fewer potential buyers you're going to have. I mean, there's just not that many people out there looking for. What did I see? $22 million.
What did he pay for it? Did he pay $15 million? I know he was looking at Orlando's house, and Orlando wanted 10, I believe.
Yeah, I mean it's
So I think he paid like 15. So he's trying, make a little money, right? A little real estate, make some money.
It's just another commentary on the appreciation of real estate values in the Denver area.
Right. Well, hey, you can want $22 million. It doesn't mean you're going to get it. Right?
Right. Yeah. It's a little bit out of my budget, but hey, might be within someone else's budget.
Maybe someone out there. Michael asked in the chat room, do we get a 3rd-round pick after he signs with another team? You cut him.
Because you're cutting him. You're cutting him, so he's a street free agent. He's not an unrestricted free agent. You have to be an unrestricted free agent, your contract has to expire. And then you have the potential of getting a compensatory pick back. You're cut, you're what they call a street free agent. That means no compensation is in the offing, will not count in any way toward the Broncos' potential comp pick calculus, depending on what other players leave. And that's another thing. Like if they cut Garett Bolles, he's not part of that either. Again, street free agent, player cut before the end of the deal. The player's contract has to expire all the way before they can be a part of that calculus.
They lose Lloyd Cushenberry, they will get a compensatory pick.
Yes.
So that's
they only get that pick if they don't sign an unrestricted free agent of comparable value. If they did, like Cush is probably going to get a pretty top level contract on the market from somebody else. So therefore, the Broncos, if they sign a player at another position, say, and it's comparable contract value relative to that position, that would cancel out Cushenberry, and you'd lose the comp 3rd-round pick that you would be getting next year. Not this year. Next year is when you're talking about the comp picks coming into play, which is why you're not going to see the Broncos get any extra picks in this year's draft because they signed so many guys on the comp calculus. They're not getting anything in 2024.
Yeah, they spent so much money, and Greg Penner said it last year. We ain't going to do this every year. They can't do it this year because Russell Wilson is likely to be cut now. He's not going to be traded. I don't believe there's any sort of restructure. And today we get that indication with the home for sale.
Yep. Big time Friday news dump. Friday of a holiday weekend, no less.
No kidding, man. And Mason's traveling. Like, come on.
I'm out in the cold. I got the rosy cheeks here and the chill.
I know. RJ says Russ has one more bathroom than wins. Did he have a bunch of bathrooms? I didn't.
Yes. And so for Russ,
something like that.
Yeah. So this past year he would have been the starting quarterback for 7 of the 8 wins because, of course, 1 win came with Jarrett Stidham, and 4 wins in the 2022 season because 1 of the wins came in a Brett Rippon start. So there you go. 11 wins. I do believe it was 12 bathrooms. Well, okay. I asked myself the question, what do you need 12 bathrooms for? Well, if you've got 2 chefs and you've got a bunch of staff floating around, of course, maybe you do need 12 bathrooms if you have that many people coming in and out, right? I mean, I guess. I don't know. I don't think we have 12 bathrooms over at the office, right?
Well, that's
and we've got a lot of people floating in and out. Yeah.
Right. Paul says
maybe 12 stalls at least. We have more than that, I'd say.
Right. And Paul says, "Get you a warm drink." What are you drinking? What do you want? A little coffee, a little tea? What do you got?
hot apple cider,
Okay.
non-alcoholic.
Okay. Tom says Mace forgot his gloves. He's got his gloves. Look.
No, right here. See, I got my gloves. My fingers are toasty warm here.
Okay.
You can see that it's golden hour where I am. The sun is
Mhm.
setting. That's
Right.
I tried to get a little light on my face a little bit, right? So it's not too bad. I mean, if you've got enough layers, I have 3 layers here: a jacket, a hoodie, t-shirt underneath. I've got my gloves on. Maybe I erred in not having a hat, but I don't know. I think my hair looks pretty good today, so I figured I'd ride it.
You got nice lettuce. If you ever need a slouchy beanie, the time I spend searching for slouchy beanies would make your head spin. So I got you covered, brother. If you want one with the brim like I wear. So, well, maybe we'll hit that up at the combine. We'll be twins out there. But let's talk about what we were going to talk about, which was Jimmy Garoppolo getting suspended for 2 games. And now, does that take him off the list? Well, it already was a no for me, dog.
Mm-hmm. No for me as well. You can read more about my take on that at denversports.com. It was a no for me because you had diminishing returns, especially when you got him out of the Shanahan-McVay orbit and working with Josh McDaniels this past year. The Raiders looked at the situation, decided to go with Aiden O'Connell when Jimmy G was healthy. And by the way, O'Connell, the rookie out of Purdue, did play better than Jimmy G did for them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You also have an injury concern. He missed a couple of games with injuries before he got benched this past season. You go back to 2018, and only once in the last 6 years has he not missed multiple games because of injuries. And so what that tells you is this is a player who doesn't have as much tread left on his tires, and maybe as some other quarterbacks of that age, and certainly maybe you're talking about kind of being like a Land Rover, right? A lot of things are starting to go wrong. So as it was, you'd be like, oh man, if we sign Jimmy G, we have to figure out a plan for 2, 3, 4 games. Well, now you've got the suspension on top of it. So this is the other thing. If the Broncos draft a quarterback this year, let's say it's a first round pick. If they do draft a first round quarterback, it's possible that Jarrett Stidham and whoever they sign next month are competing for one roster spot when all is said and done, right? Because, do you really need 2 people ahead of that young quarterback? Well, now with this suspension, you're basically stuck with keeping both Jarrett Stidham and Jimmy Garoppolo if he's the veteran you might sign. That's why now on that level, I'd say it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, not a lot of sense, and we'll see what the Broncos do. We do have some more questions from the chat room. An AMA on Friday with 5 minutes or so left. Andy says, what's going on with Timmy Pats?
All's quiet right now. The indications I've received involve Tim Patrick getting a restructure potentially, that they're going to try to bring him back potentially on a restructured deal. If the Broncos cut Tim Patrick, the dead money would be minimal, so there would be some benefit. Sorry, I had to
give us the peace sign.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit jumpy when I see people behind me on camera when I'm out in public like this. I'm not gonna lie, right?
Well, I saw that Ford Explorer and I was like, is that the police? We got an unmarked car pulling up behind Mace. What are you doing over there?
Yeah, what am I doing? I'm on a public sidewalk here, so I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Anyhow, so it's one of those things where you could give Tim Patrick, say, $4 million guaranteed. He'd be in better shape than he would be if he was cut. He gets a chance to come back. The Broncos do like him. It's a new coaching staff, obviously, since the last time he played a regular season game, because it's been a long time, 2 seasons. But I think it's one of those things where it's a mutual benefit for him to come back on a relatively minimal prove-it type of deal with maybe a $3 or $4 million guarantee involved.
All right, Lawrence says, let's get Daniel Jones. I would vote a no on that. It's above Jimmy Garoppolo, but they just paid him and they want to get out of him. I mean, that kind of tells you. And you and I remember Daniel Jones at the Senior Bowl. It's like, he's a poor man's Carson Wentz. Does anybody want Carson Wentz?
Daniel Jones or Sam Darnold? Who do you like?
Darnold. Way rather take a chance on those tools than Daniel Jones, who's already developed. He already had bad habits coming in. I mean, what was his one good game? Was it Rutgers? There was one game in college. They even lost that game. I think he threw like 6 touchdowns and they lost. And he's done nothing in the pros. And Brian Daboll was perfect for him. That was a perfect fit. But then you have another see it, throw it, running quarterback. You don't need that. You need timing and precision and rhythm.
And he also puts the ball on the ground an awful lot historically, too. Has a high fumble rate over the course of his career. That I think you have to bear in mind as well.
Right. Edward says, do you think Stidham will significantly improve to be the designated number 1 quarterback?
If it hasn't happened by now, I'm not sure it's going to happen now, especially with, he was drafted in the 4th round for a reason in the end. And remember, you go back to 2020, he had that shot with the Patriots going into the season, going into camp to be their quarterback, and instead they looked at how Stidham was doing and they signed Cam Newton. So, I mean, he's going into year 6 at this point. I think he looks. I'm not sure the ceiling is much higher than we've already seen at this point.
Yeah, that's true there. Dennis saying, stay safe out there, Mace, on those cold streets.
I am trying to. I can feel the goosebumps forming underneath my layers at this point.
Let's get you in that car with the heater on full blast, brother. Is there anything to wrap up today's show? What do you feel like, Mace? What do you want to talk about? Well, let's relax. Let's chill out. What are we doing here?
All right. What am I thinking here? I mean, I'm thinking about real estate. I'm thinking about Russell Wilson putting the house on the market. It's one of those symbolic moments, right? You look back at the last 23 months and everything when it started, when Russ and Sierra walked into that press conference room, that team meeting, it's a team room, but they use it for big press conferences, walked into that team room at what is now known as Centura Health Training Center, and you thought, this is something that could be enduring, right? That here comes Russ and Sierra, and he's going to be the quarterback for the next several years, and he's going to be a fully established part of Broncos country, Broncos culture for the long haul. And now we're sitting here talking about it ending, them moving on. I mean, what kind of I don't know they're going to have many fond memories of Denver when they look back on their time there. And Broncos fans themselves probably aren't going to have many fond memories of Russell Wilson as a quarterback. So, from what the expectations and hopes were that day to the reality of they're selling their house, their mansion, not even 2 years into this. It's, it has you kind of reflecting on how did we get here and could anybody have foreseen this coming? I don't think anybody really did.
Yeah. Brad's wondering if he'll have a garage sale. I'd go to that garage sale. I just bought another comic book collection today, Mace. So I'm always on the hunt.
I think it'll be donated, tax write-off. You know how those things go.
Oh yeah, those guys. You got money, you know how to hide your money. A programming note.
If he has 2 chefs, how many accountants does he have?
Exactly. Yeah, it'd be like Jeff Bezos. Yes. Be like, I didn't make a dime. I didn't make a cent. All right. Like, there we go.
Yeah.
Programming note. We do have a Saturday show coming out for everybody. You and I are talking about the coaching hires of Pete Carmichael and Jim Leonhard. Everyone stay tuned for that. We also have a special President's Day show on Monday with Chad Ryder from NFL Network. We had a question earlier in the chat room, like, can they really move up for Drake May? Well, stay tuned on Monday, and we're going to give you an answer to that, Mace. We're always keeping you busy here on Orange Blue today.
We are. So I say no off days. We don't have a show on Sunday, but President's Day is a holiday, but we're still rolling. We're here for you.
Rocking and
And
rolling.
I'll have written content over the weekend as well, and you'll have your Mile High Monday on Monday, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
there you go.
So
There you go.
give us a Frozen Fingers YouTube outro here, brother.
All right, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you never miss a vid. As you see with my gloved fingers, glove, exciting and new. Come aboard, we're expecting you.
Somebody said you guys are like a bad SNL skit when you do that, and I was like, we're here to pump you up.
I mean, I guess when it's just one of us, should it just be like a coffee talk? You know, talk amongst yourselves.
Getting the clip.
Here's a topic. The glorious revolution was neither glorious nor a revolution. Discuss.
It's Friday, baby. It's Friday.
Yes, end of the week. I'm cold. I'm going to go warm up here in a little bit.
Mace. Heated seats, baby. Heated seats.
I've got heated seats. I've got a heated steering wheel. I'm good, but thank you.
All right, let's get out of here, everybody. Nate says, tell Mace to look out. And of course, stay frosty.
I am frosty, baby. Look at these cheeks. They're getting rosier.
Well, I got you saying, baby. See, I've done my job. Anyway,
thank you.
He's Mace. I'm Cecil. OBT is a BFD. We appreciate you all. Stay tuned. And would you please stay frosty?